4th and 1. Backup quarterback. AFC Championship. And one decision that still echoes through the Broncos locker room long after the confetti fell for someone else. When the Denver Broncos walked into Foxborough with their Super Bowl hopes hanging by a thread, Sean Payton knew there would be no margin for error. What he didn't know was that a single moment, just minutes into the game, would quietly decide everything that followed. Because when you strip away the stats, the sacks, and the missed kicks, this game didn't swing in the fourth quarter. It didn't swing on a final drive. It swung early. So early that most fans didn't realize what they were watching until it was already too late. The Broncos were supposed to be surviving, not dictating. They were supposed to be cautious, not daring. Bo Nix was out. Jarrett Stidham was under center in the biggest game of his career. On the other side stood New England, battle-tested, disciplined, and fully comfortable in ugly playoff football. This was not supposed to be a game where Denver blinked first. But that's exactly what happened. And here's the part that still hurts Broncos fans the most. It was working. Right out of the gate, it was working. Stidham didn't look rattled. He didn't look overwhelmed. On his very first big throw of the night, he launched a perfect 52-yard strike to Marvin Mims that instantly flipped field position and silenced the crowd. 2 plays later, he found Courtland Sutton in the end zone. Touchdown. 7-0. Momentum fully on Denver's side. In that moment, everything Sean Payton wanted out of his game plan was unfolding. Fast start. Defense rested. Pressure immediately shifted to the Patriots. And with that early surge came a decision that would define the night. 4th and short. Deep in Patriots territory. The easy call was obvious. Kick the field goal. Go up 10. Force New England to chase. Give your backup quarterback breathing room. Stack points and trust your defense. Sean Payton didn't do that. He stayed aggressive. He trusted his gut. He trusted the moment. And in doing so, he stepped onto the thinnest line in football. The line between bold and reckless. The play call never looked right. From the snap, New England surged forward. The hole wasn't there. The push never materialized. And just like that, the Broncos walked away with nothing. No 10-point lead. No cushion. No separation. And almost immediately the air changed, because playoff football is unforgiving. You don't just lose points when you fail on 4th down. You lose belief. You give the other sideline life. You tell the opposing quarterback that this game is still wide open. Maye took that message and ran with it. The Patriots answered. They tied the game. Then they took control. And from that moment on, the Broncos' offense never found its rhythm again. 7 points. That's all Denver would score the rest of the night. Sean Payton admitted it afterward. Not directly. Not emotionally. But the words were there. There's always regrets, he said. 4th and 1, we felt close enough. It's also a call you make based on the team you're playing and what you're watching on the other side of the ball. So yeah, there will always be second thoughts. That's coach speak. But translation is simple. He knew. He knew what that decision meant once the final score read Patriots by 3. And that's where this story gets even more brutal. Because that 4th down stop wasn't the only 3 points Denver left on the field. Special teams rarely steal headlines in championship games. But they absolutely decide them. And in this one, special teams quietly became the difference between a Super Bowl ticket and an early offseason. Wil Lutz had been steady all year. Reliable. Automatic. The kind of kicker coaches trust without hesitation. But even the most dependable players feel the weight of January football. Late in the first half, Denver put together a promising drive. Starting near midfield, Payton clearly wanted points before the break. Even 3 would have mattered. Then came the sack. Jarrett Stidham went down, pushing the kick from a manageable distance to 54 yards. Light wind. Clean snap. Lutz lined it up. And he missed. Wide right. A rare moment. A costly one. And in a game that ended with a 3-point margin, it loomed larger with every passing minute. After the game, Lutz explained what went wrong. Unfortunately, you couldn't see the lines on the field, he said. We might have been a yard short on the snap. No excuses. Just reality. Small margins. Tiny mistakes. Championship consequences. The Patriots missed a field goal too. The difference was simple. New England could afford theirs. Denver couldn't, because while the Broncos' offense stalled, Vance Joseph's defense did everything it could to keep them alive. 5 sacks. Constant pressure. Relentless effort. Maye was uncomfortable all night. But defense can only hold for so long when the scoreboard doesn't move. Jarrett Stidham's stat line tells the story. 17 completions on 31 attempts. 133 yards. 1 touchdown. 1 interception. 3 sacks. He didn't implode. He didn't embarrass himself. But he couldn't lift the offense once momentum swung away. And that's the quiet tragedy of this game. Denver didn't get blown out. They didn't collapse. They simply ran out of answers after that early gamble failed. Every drive after felt heavier. Every third down felt longer. Every missed opportunity felt magnified. The Patriots didn't dominate. They endured. They waited. And when Denver blinked, they took control. By the final whistle, the story was complete. New England hoisted the Lamar Hunt Trophy. Another Super Bowl trip. Another chapter in a postseason legacy built on patience and precision. For Denver, it was the end of a season filled with belief. A season where Sean Payton reestablished the culture. Where the defense found its identity. Where the roster proved it belonged on the biggest stage. And yet, all anyone will remember is 4th and 1. That's the cruel reality of playoff football. You're remembered for moments, not months. Decisions, not intentions. Sean Payton chose aggression. He chose faith over fear. And while that mindset built Denver's resurgence, it also ended their season. So here's the question Broncos fans will debate all offseason. Was that the right call? Or was that the moment Sean Payton outsmarted himself? Because championships aren't just won by boldness. They're won by timing. And on this night, timing betrayed Denver. The Patriots are moving on. The Broncos are left replaying a single snap in their minds. 4th and 1. And what makes this loss even harder to swallow is how familiar it feels. Broncos fans have lived this movie before. A season where belief slowly returns. A roster that overachieves. A locker room that buys into the head coach. And then, when the lights are brightest, one razor-thin moment sends everything crashing down. Because let's be clear about something. Sean Payton didn't lose this game because he's reckless. He lost it because he trusted the very philosophy that got Denver here in the first place. Aggression. Control. Dictating terms instead of reacting to them. That mindset rebuilt this team from the ground up. But playoff football has a cruel way of punishing even the smartest logic. That 4th and 1 wasn't just a play call. It was a message. Payton was telling his players, I trust you. I trust this offense. I trust that we can end drives in the end zone, not settle. And for a team led by a backup quarterback, that trust can be empowering or paralyzing. Once it failed, you could feel the tension creep in. Not panic, not fear, but hesitation. The Broncos stopped playing loose. The play calling tightened. The Patriots sensed it immediately. New England didn't do anything flashy after that. They didn't chase big plays. They didn't force the issue. They leaned on discipline, field position, and patience. The exact formula that has broken countless opponents in January. And slowly, the game tilted. Every punt felt like a win for New England. Every stalled Denver drive felt heavier than the last. And when Wil Lutz missed that field goal, the sideline reaction told the story. Not anger, just disbelief. The kind that says, this might not be our night. Football games are emotional ecosystems. One missed opportunity feeds another. One decision bleeds into the next. And for Denver, the margin evaporated long before the fourth quarter arrived. Even late, when the Broncos still had a chance, it never felt inevitable. It felt hopeful. And hope is dangerous in playoff football. Hope keeps you close enough to hurt. Jarrett Stidham tried to steady things. He didn't shy away. He didn't turtle. But the Patriots' defense closed windows quickly. Routes that looked open early disappeared. Pressure arrived just a half-second faster. And without a running game that could tilt the field, Stidham was forced to play perfect football. That's a brutal ask in your first start in years on the road in an AFC Championship. Meanwhile, the Broncos' defense kept swinging. Sack after sack. Hit after hit. Vance Joseph's unit refused to fold. But defense feeds off points. And when the offense can't reward those stops, fatigue becomes inevitable. By the time New England pushed into double digits, the script felt written. Not because the deficit was massive, but because Denver had already used up its room for error. Every earlier mistake now demanded perfection. And perfection never came. That's the haunting part of this loss. If the Broncos kick the field goal on 4th and 1, they're playing with a lead all night. If Lutz makes that kick, the pressure flips late. If one drive ends differently, we're telling a completely different story today. Instead, New England is preparing for another Super Bowl, while Denver is dissecting inches. Sean Payton will own it publicly. That's who he is. He won't hide behind execution or injuries. But privately, this one will linger. Coaches remember these moments forever. They replay them. They reframe them. They question timing, not intent. And Broncos fans will do the same. Some will say you have to take the points. Championship games are about survival. Others will argue that playing scared is how underdogs lose anyway. Both sides are right. And that's what makes this decision so divisive. Because there is no clean answer. Only consequences. This season was still a success. Denver proved it belongs among the AFC elite. Sean Payton proved he can still build a winner. The culture is real. The foundation is strong. But windows don't stay open forever. And opportunities like this don't come with guarantees. 4th and 1 will live on as a symbol. Not of failure, but of how close the Broncos truly were. So here's the question that matters most. If you're Sean Payton, do you make that call again? Or does January teach you a different lesson? Because next time, the margin will be just as thin. And the consequences will be just as permanent.